Hello, Erin. How are you today? This is
Hi.
Hookah.
Hi, I'm doing great. How are you?
Oh, you're wonderful and ecstatic like always. Today we have a message to deliver. We've made a point to prepare something focused on your daily earth life, something practical that you can put into use without preparation, without a lot of exercises and meditations beforehand. You've been provided with so many wonderful, useful tools by other beings, and you're familiar with a lot of our society's approaches for enhancing your life through focused work. So this will be more of a tip for a mindset. And the topic is the power of understatement. The idea is that in this time, a lot of communication in your society has become exaggerated. This is done for both positive and more self-centered purposes, both of them, at times to show enthusiasm, support, excitement, encouragement, and at times to draw attention, to make up for some kind of doubt, to fulfill some perceived lack, and at times just out of habit, out of a custom. And the point is to be aware of this, and then to at times choose the opposite as a way to balance out your communication and interactions with others. You're aware of the concept of power and the idea that has been expressed by other beings that the greatest power is the lightest touch. And you can use this with your words. You can have great impact with very subtle choices. When you use effusive language, it loses its impact. When you use very dramatic vocabulary choices overly, when you overly use them, they lose their meaning. It can become something like the boy who cried wolf. It will be hard for others to understand when there is a need to respond with great enthusiasm in return. When you reserve your powerful word choices for when they are appropriate, they will have more meaning. It will feel more authentic. People will trust you. In this time of communication through devices, using text and images and punctuation, it can be necessary to express things that would be shown through body language and facial expression and tone, inflection, intonation. Through the use of pictures and exclamation points and strong words. And to some degree, this is, of course, useful and necessary and appropriate. You can show friendliness. You can show encouragement. And there are accepted and understood uses for these methods. But when every conversation begins in this way, it's not as effective. So begin to use discernment in your communication. Begin to choose your wording, with more thought. Is this actually how I feel? Or am I trying to create a feeling that's not actually the truth, not actually what's happening in this situation? Am I doing what I think is expected of me? There's an old expression that says, don't under egg the pudding. Don't over egg the pudding. Don't over egg the pudding, which of course means don't add too many eggs to the recipe. It will throw the creation off balance. And in fact, this recipe, which is a baked good, would of course not rise. And when you add too much impact, enthusiasm, excitement into your expressions, they will not rise. The appropriate amount will have the most effect. Focus on simplicity. Efficiency. Be succinct. Reconsider ideas like sarcasm, remember that humor is not to be done at another's expense. When you use words that are meant to be used for extreme situations, you take away the power of those words. And then society is forced to use new words to replace the words that have lost their meaning. So simply experiment. With using a more understated tone in your communication and notice the effect it has. It's just another tool that you have, another choice you can make. And notice the word choice of others. And notice the word choice of those that you consider to be someone you admire. And compare this idea to their word choice. And this will help you discern who you would like to associate with. Thank you. And if you would like to ask questions, that would be exciting.
You may have addressed this, but I might not remember. Why have we come to this point where everything is so, well, not everything, but sometimes people make overstatements.
Yes, that's wonderful that you noticed then, that you did that right then with the everything.
Yeah.
Every time, always, and changed it to sometimes.
Mhm.
It's a feeling of insignificance, a need to make a statement, to gain more power, to feel important, to some kind of feeling of lack or a limited belief. When you feel completely certain that what you are about to say is meaningful, significant, true, when you don't feel that you need the attention of others, the energy of others, when you know that simply saying what you truly feel, what is truly accurate, what is nothing more and nothing less than the exact, specific, true situation and information, you won't feel any need to add more to that. You won't feel a need to make something the most or the least or the best or the worst or the greatest or the most exciting or interesting. How it is enough. It's right. It's correct. It's the most impactful.
What would you say to someone who is a person who has recognized that they do often make overstatements? They maybe use many, many exclamation points or exaggerate in their words. And it might, after watching this, they might possibly, have some issues come to the surface for them, and to make that transition into being more authentic. Is there anything you could offer to help in that transition? It's a shift.
Yes. They can spend some time thinking about asking themselves, asking their guides why they feel a need to do this. Was it to fit in? Was it to get attention? Was it because they doubt their significance? Ask themselves these questions. Maybe ask some friends how they feel when they receive their communications. Maybe they could then tell their friends they're going to experiment with a new kind of communication, and that will make it easier for them to try to tone things down without being afraid of seeming cold or boring or sad or unexciting or uninteresting. They can just experiment with it with trusted friends.
That sounds fun.
Yes. They could start a group, the authentic communicators. They can know that everyone will be experimenting with more grounded, neutral language. See how it feels to communicate in that way.
Would you say it's possible that some people really are that inspired and excited that their expressions would contain a lot of positive energy?
Yes. Some people are naturally more energetic than others. If it feels authentic, if they know, if they have considered this idea and they truly believe that their communication and expressions are truly true representations of their energy, then they should continue.
That's something really nice to reflect on as far as our communication expressions.
Yes.
Guess if we see examples of others being very overly, or possibly not overly, but are very expressive positively or negatively, we can take that as an example for ourselves, and it may or may not be true for us.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
The idea here is to go inside and consider if you're being your true self and what your motivations are.
Now, with the formula, it's act on your highest excitement.
Yes. And you know, the word excitement doesn't always have to be exclamation point kind of excitement. Right?
Right. Yes.
Yes. So if you are a person who believes in following your excitement, you may believe that means you always have to look and feel and talk in an excited manner, or you're not living your excitement. But that's not a correct translation of the idea. Because remember, excitement could be simply having tea calmly by yourself. This was just a word chosen. It could be replaced by others. And you've heard other expressions: follow your heart, follow your bliss. Follow your true, authentic self. And if your true, authentic self is calm, that's perfectly wonderful.
Would you say that possibly, what do you have to say about when people judge or discern whether or not other people are following their highest excitement by what their expressions are? Is there really any way another person can tell?
Some people may use their intuition, their ability to sense energy, and may be able to discern this energetically. But if they are making any kind of judgment or unrequested suggestions, this is not necessary. I don't think this is an act that will contribute anything to that person's life.
Yeah, because I even heard Bashar say that sometimes people are following their highest excitement, but it appears to be something maybe that appears negative to other people, but they're doing it from a higher place to help others transform or something like that.
Yes, it would be difficult for one to accurately assess the actions of another and you've heard the idea of something being mechanically negative, but being used for growth and learning, expression, experimentation, which may, if done with the right intentions and with integrity, could result in positive learning. It's really not useful for one to judge the path of another.
Sometimes we seem like we're intertwined with others in a way, like in our relationships. So being able to navigate that connection without judging, but still being able to discern possibly what may be going on as the relationship itself, maybe not just with the individual.
Yes. If done with the right intentions, with clear, authentic communication, these ideas can be discussed if the relationship between the two people is one that requires a discussion. Not all relationships are this type. If advice is asked, that is an opportunity to share perspectives.
Thank you.
Yes. One moment. Okay.
I don't have any more questions, but I'm open if you have anything else to share.
There was one message for you, and this is the idea of the feather, that the feather has a very light touch. And you can use this idea of the feather to help you imagine the kind of effect your words can have. Light like a feather. As if you were writing with a quill. You can imagine this light, beautiful effect. So much beauty, so powerful, powerful enough to help a bird soar through the sky, but so light. If you can imagine this, the lightness of a feather while you are communicating with others, and know that this is going to have a powerful effect in the pure beauty and honesty and truth. You will communicate in more meaningful and authentic ways. And others will begin to respond similarly. And the energy exchanged will be something that enhances your life and adds more depth to the relationship. You will begin to perceive ideas such as respect, trust, and pure authenticity. That's all.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's a joy to communicate with you.
As it is with you.
Thank you very much. Goodbye.
Bye.
Hmm.
Mhm.